Warum gibt's das hin? Ist das vielleicht versäumt oder was ist los? Ja, schön, wo ist das Bild dazu? Ja. Hello.
Project Director, George Kirstick, Head of Story, Christy Golden, Senior Writer, Senior Publisher, Editor,
Oh, Miss Golden.
Sean Copeland, our Historian Supervisor. We're here to talk to you about how we help craft the story. This is actually where we work. This is our one of our lobbies of our building. There's more to it than the lobby, but it's really nice. We're here to talk about kind of like how we work with each of the development teams, each of the game teams, to help craft narrative story for their IPs. So whether that's comic books, novels, cinematic, short stories, that's what we're here to talk about. So we sit in a room with them throughout the week and just break story, talk about the stories they want to tell. And one of those fixtures that's always in the room, and let him start us off, is Sean Copeland, our senior story supervisor. Talk to us about why you're in the room.
Thank you, Tim. So before I do that, I actually need to take a moment for Tim here. He is actually kind of like our central nervous system for all of our teams. He keeps all of us. He's herding all the cats, and we're really lucky to have him. But
thank you, Sean.
For what I do actually is my title is Historian Supervisor, but it's really easy to think of me as Blizzard Entertainment's lore master. My job is to cultivate the lore of the past to inspire the story that we get to shape today. And I guess you can kind of consider me the voice of stories past in a way. And it's one of the things I do. It's kind of funny. I was just
Kleine Fliege schwirrt hier rum,
for
ey.
a little bit. The VO actors, yeah. She was asking me. I just finished the Arctis novel, and I needed to know where do I go from here to get me to what we saw in the Warcraft. And I was like, this is what I do! Awesome! I get to teach the Banshee Queen about her lore! So it was a really awesome moment, but I get to do that for each and every one up here. And it's
never off the clock. Well, let's talk about lore in the sense that we've coined a term, lore yoga, in the room. And that's something you can probably enlighten everyone on.
Okay, yeah, so lore yoga actually is a silly term that we coined to describe what lore masters do when we're trying to seek out a solve within the established franchise lore. So I guess one way on a mega scale would be what we did for the Warcraft Chronicle series of books. So,
Was macht die Lore?
back in the day when we first started on this multi-layer initiative,
Hä?
I was sitting in the room with Mess and he's like, John, we're going to need your doctorate in Nazarothian history for this one, my friend.
Weißt du, wollte ich mich ja nur verpönen.
Bring it. It's going to be awesome. But mega-wise, I was able to take all of the 20 plus years of Azerothian lore, either had been made or at that time being made, and provide that as a roadmap
Chronicle.
for writers so they could take the story that they're trying to tell over 3 volumes of lore to try to smooth out all that we had
Diese
created.
Fresse in der Mitte braucht aber keiner. Was?
That's where I was helping them along. I was being their guide the entire
Die schönen
journey.
Bücher.
And lore yoga, sometimes the lore doesn't bend as perfectly as we want, and
Das da rechts nehme ich aber gerne.
Warum? Warum das rechte?
Meine Priesterin.
Was ist das andere alles? Behandelt doch alles Mediv? Schwall? Nee, Quatsch, Dings. Ja, nicht Schwall hier. Ach, wie heißt denn der Typ? Hä?
Story is king.
Und der Runde.
But again, we want to talk about meta scale. 2 examples to share. The first one is the Reinhardt animated short, Honor and Glory. For that moment, I was working with George here, and I was giving him a tour of Eichenwald because he was looking at the story and they wanted to get the logistics.
Ist der wirklich so rein?
And while we're in the bar area, I
Nein, aber hart.
The writing on the bar of Brian's name, because you know, rite of passage, we all carve our names.
Auch im Alter ist er ziemlich hart drauf.
That moment alone, George was like, "That's it. I can jump on that arrogant fool. That arrogant fool. It's a story moment. It speaks to his character." So that was fun to show him because that actually, as you saw, it ended up in the animation, as we saw, and then. The one that's a personal source of pride for me would be Varrock Sarfang in The Old Soldier and what you recently saw in Lost Honor. So back when we were first starting the process on Old Soldier, the director Mark Messenger comes to me and he's like, "Sean, I need a battle-hardened orc. I need someone who has lived through wars." And I was like, "I got exactly who you need." And being able to provide Varrock Sarfang, veteran of the First, Second, and Third Wars, veteran of the events of World of Warcraft, I'm like, this is your guy. And I was able to share his life story so well that he actually ended up being the character they used in these animation stories. And then even on top of that, we got to start helping flesh out new lore with Sakan, that everybody loves to say is Zappy Boy. So,
ja, aber das ist genau meine Wahl. Ich bin dazwischen.
The story is king, but the lore is also very important. So much that they keep someone like myself on to help inspire and to help keep these stories going as we continually flesh out and jam on new content.
Yeah, you're always a source of inspiration and just help. Thank you so much. And then, like, so we have a character of Sarfang, which you kind of got us rolling with, and we did more stories.
Wie viele 100.000 Leute sitzen denn da schon wieder? Da sind die alle nur Infizierte da.
Naja.
How important is character?
That age-old conflict between character and plot. Well, I'm going to say something that's going to sound strange to everyone who came here on a panel about story, but character is more important than story because character is story. And it took me a while to figure that out. I was kind of brought up in the three-act structure, kind of the beginning, middle, and end, set up and payoff. You know, there's a couple mentalities there, like Robert McKee's story, and there's Save the Cat, and Save the Cat Strikes Back, and Revenge of the Sequel. So these are all kind of mentalities that say there's a formula to story, and a few years ago, I realized that is not important. What's important is the character, who they are, what they want, their needs, their dreams, their fears. And if you know those things, the story comes naturally. And something that I really love about Blizzard and about, you know, the characters that we
Den willst du jetzt was erzählen über Geschichte? Die kommt beim Stück natürlich zu euch, so wie ihr mit der umgeht.
Das ist ja noch der Direktor der Story, wa?
Der Moment, an dem ich was geworfen hätte.
Ich verstehe nicht, also ihn durfte da nicht irgendwie so, da müssten mehrere dran arbeiten, weil wenn einer da oben nur das Sagen hat, dann wird das schon gefährlich. Ja, der sagt, ich mach die Story so und dann ist es gut und alle müssen ja sagen, das geht ja nicht.
And also, you know, his people, the Horde, and then we have Zappy Boy, who's looking for a father figure, and these two characters find each other, and they also find, you know, and hopefully keep fighting on. And another character, and hopefully you guys just recently saw this, is that where we have Anduin. Again, expressing vulnerability, and we have these two characters. Very quiet moment, not much action, but a titanic plot shift in what's going to happen next.
Next.
And, you know, I always think about Anduin in terms of a conversation Christy and I had a while ago. We've seen Anduin grow up. We've seen him go from boy to king.
Hey,
we've seen
Kumpel.
him kind of take control of his
Kumpel Ork.
and make some decisions moving forward. And something Christy said to me, you know, I've been
Hey,
so many
ist das
characters.
so
I've seen and so you've been a mother to many characters, and then also a murderess of many characters, right? So I find that fascinating that we constantly evolve our characters and we constantly push the story forward in doing that.
Let's talk about character development and the characters that we've seen in
Peace.
Charakterentwicklung, genau als ob ihr davon Ahnung habt.
You wrote a little novel called For the Storm, where you kind of
Vor dem Sturm.
this is not short pants Anduin, but it's more older Manduin. Why don't you talk about that?
Früher war, naja, sagen wir mal so ein bisschen Charakterentwicklung oder Charakterstory haben die gebracht.
Ein wenig und dann schreiben sie Schundbruder wieder mit, weil sie einen besseren Plan haben plötzlich. Und gehen dann in eine ganz andere
Denn
Richtung.
am Anfang von World of Warcraft haben sie ja keine Charakterentwicklung gehabt. Da stand dieser komische kleine Möchtegern-König, dieser kleine Jungspund da rum.
Ja, das war ja auch so, du warst halt dieser kleine Kacknu, der sich eben hocharbeiten, weißt du, du steigst ihm auf. Das war halt so die Geschichte, das war halt deine Geschichte.
Ja.
Du kriegst halt diese berühmten Charaktere.
Aber die machen auch alle sprunghaft mit diesen NPCs.
Ja, natürlich. Fällt jedem auf. Und die verneinen das immer dann so, weißt du, so, nein,
Da fehlt
was geplant.
Da fehlt irgendwie was. Denn auf einmal war ja der große König plötzlich da. Ne? Warum auch immer. Story fehlt. Oder?
Naja, die Story gibt es aber so in Gym hast du
Ah, nicht im Spiel. Da ist das nie so zum Tragen gekommen. Jetzt die letzten 2, 3 Erweiterungen haben sie wirklich Story so geschichtlich ein bisschen was gemacht.
mal das so schmeichelhaft
Hey, der Hafen.
Ja, es ist scheißegal, was du schreibst. Sie sagen ja sowieso, wenn es nicht dazu gehört, gehört es nicht dazu. Also macht es auch keinen Sinn. Also ganz klar gesagt.
Naja, es gibt ja Leute, die schreiben Storys.
Ja, sie schreibt doch diese Geschichte auch.
Ja.
Festival.
Bis Golden.
And I did a lot of theater in my younger days, and one of the things I do get to do here is
Der Punkt ist, dass diese Geschichten, die aber geschrieben werden, die Bücher nicht zwingend was mit dem Spiel zu tun haben. Das weiß es Fuß drauf, aber was? Was steht denn nicht da?
Obwohl die Charaktere ja drin vorkommen, nicht?
Ja, aber wozu sind sie ja da? Da fühlt man sich verarscht.
Da fühlst du dich bei, aber das ist schon richtig.
Besonders wenn es Geschichten sind, inzwischen Add-ons und die etwas wiedergeben sollen. Und dann am Ende vollkommen anders ist, weil alles besser ist.
Leider.
Ich sag ja, wie mit dem Kuchen, ne?
Welches?
Kuchen und Jasche.
Ah.
And that's when to let the image carry it. What striking image? What needs to be visual? What needs to be spelled out in dialogue so it's super clear? Pacing, tightening, things like that. And that was a real challenge. And I've worked with Kate for many years as the editor here at Blizzard. And I got
Story.
Let's talk a little bit.
Wenn sie gut gewesen wären, hätten sie gesagt,
Exploring
World of Warcraft.
comics is a little bit different.
Story. Nächste Deadline. Story, weiter. Weißt du, damit man nicht storymäßig hintereinander wegzieht. Dann wären sie gut gewesen.
Das hat ja damit schon angefangen, als der Kataclysmus-Kram. Wo eigentlich nur noch Hiccup-Story hat es plötzlich.
Weil dann wäre das richtig,
Sinn mehr am Ende ergeben.
wenn du dann wirklich da eine Story-Entwickler hat, die ins nächste Add-on gleich mit reinspielt, ja. Und wenn auch die ganzen Vor-Events gleich in die Story mit drin gepackt, das wäre es gewesen. Das wäre richtig gut. Dann hätte das wirklich richtig gemacht, ja. Aber ich glaube, zur damaligen Zeit hatten sie noch nicht das auf der Pfanne, war. Mit Story.
Gut, ja, das ist ein Lauf.
As George mentioned, it is a very quiet story. We're getting inside Jaina's psyche. We're in her head at the start of the comic. She's reliving all of her past guilt and regrets. It's like me when I wake up every morning, but on steroids. No problem.
Alles lacht, alles freut sich.
With her memories, which sets up the
No.
punishment she suffers later in game when she goes to Coltera to the sentence for treason.
Es ist frei.
And I think we can all relate to that. Like not the treason so much, but you know, like that feeling of something horrible in our past that we can't ever come back from. And for Jaina, that was when she stood aside and allowed the Horde to kill her dad. And that's what the Jaina comic is about. It goes back to Coltera's on the anniversary of Dalen Craftworth's death. And a really cool thing the comic does is it shows a visual juxtaposition between how Jaina remembers Valen's death as this horrible, heartbreaking tragedy she couldn't stop, and how her mother and the people of Kultiris remember it as a heartless woman
Und hat die das die ganze Zeit gejuckt? All die Jahre eigentlich ja nicht, ne? Erst seit so einem gewissen tragischen Anschlag ist ja dreht am Rad.
No. She knew for a fact that they hated her. Her own mother thought she was a traitor, and still she goes back because she agrees with them. She wanted harsh punishment. She's the daughter of the sea.
And we can write songs now.
Right.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other comics and the IPs that we've helped support. StarCraft.
Right, we took a different approach to the StarCraft monthly comics with Dark Horse. Instead of focusing on iconic characters from the game, we created brand new characters and revealed the world through them. These aren't the superpowered, larger-than-life characters you might be used to. You're not going to see any Kerrigans or Raynors. These are regular, ordinary people whose preconceptions are shattered by the harshness of the Cthulhu sector. They get in over their heads and have to fight for their lives. Which brings me to the first StarCraft monthly comic series of Scavengers, written by Jody Hauser with art by Gabriel Guzman. You can see the cover right up there. Our point of view character is Caleb, brand new guy, engineer fresh off the farm, just joined the scavenger crew of the Magpie. It's his first time in space. He wants to have a fun adventure with his friend Kira. They find a derelict Protoss ship just floating around, dead by its backwater planet. They figure, hey, let's board it, scavenge its tech. Hooray, what could go wrong?
Und trotzdem, ihr redet alles mit Charakterentwicklung, aber auf die Charakterentwicklung von manchen Personen warten wir Ewigkeiten. Das dauert nicht.
Let's talk about an Overwatch comic that came out last year where we explored a specific character, Reaper Raze.
Way to give away the worst secret in Overwatch.
Retribution.
Overwatch Retribution. Now, I love a good villain origin story, and that's what this comic is. It sets up the moment in the in-game cutscene when Gabriel Reyes shoots Antonio. And what the comic does is it gives Gabriel a more personal, deeper motivation for doing it. And that's what makes the villain great, right? Like, we get their motivation to relate with them, but it's their methods that are inexcusable. Now, the Overwatch Retribution comic was written by Blizzard's own Matt Burns with art by Gray Shuko. It starts off with a bombing of an Overwatch facility, a Blackwatch facility, and we find out that Gabriel is very close to Gerard LaCroix, and Gerard is critically injured in the bombing. And we see that Gabriel is really torn up by this. He feels a lot of rage and powerlessness that Overwatch can't stop Talon through traditional means. And a really cool thing that the comic does is it visually shows the link between Gabriel sitting by Gerard's hospital bed and the bomb timer. And the pacing of the panels shows that Gabriel is also a bomb waiting to go off, which he does later when he kills Antonio. And the final panel of the comic is shades of what Gabriel will become going down this dark road at Reaper.
Genau.
We talked about novels, we talked about comics. Let's talk
Ja,
about
Reaper wäre perfekt als Sith Lord.
We had a few that premiered today. One of them was the McCree piece. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Mio Del Rosario was the head storyboard artist on this piece. I'm going to pass this to you, and why don't you walk us through some of the work you did on McCree working with Jason?
Oh, sure thing, Tim. So whenever we start working on a new story, we want to make sure that we create moments and ideas that would help us push the character development forward throughout the narrative. So as storyboard artists, me and my team work closely with the directors and the writers to help them visualize the flow of these story moments within the narrative. So when Jason gave me his initial pitch on the McCree episode and how he sees it as a classic Western, that gave me an idea on how I would approach the challenges, on how we can develop McCree's character throughout the cinematic. So I want to show you guys some of the storyboards that we did, just to give you guys a thought process and walk you guys through to the approach when we are developing McCree's character in this state. So this is the very first image that I did for McCree, and if I remember correctly, it took me a few days to get his attitude right in this one image. And I think the real challenge here is finding that balance between preserving what we all know and love about McCree in the game, but at the same time we want to introduce a new element to his character so that when our audience sees that, they can see him on a different perspective or in a new light. So once I've got this locked down, I was able to make this image as my groundwork or as my foundation in representing McCree throughout the storyboarding process. So, for example, if there's a part in the script where we see, or where it shows that McCree is in a gunfight, or he's taking cover, reloading his gun, or even just as simple as standing still and delivering his lines.
He looks cool.
Yeah, he's definitely looking cool. I was able to easily visualize these moments because I already took my time in exploring and understanding his personality during those early stages. And going back to that very first image that I drew, I was able to create a consistent visual language for his actions and behavior all throughout the piece. So another element that I think helps in the development of the character's personality is the environment where the story takes place. As storytellers, we want to make sure that we don't dictate the actions or the behavior of our heroes, but rather we want to introduce events and moments and see how they would react to it. For example, in the very beginning of the episode, when we hear the explosion outside of the diner, we actually feel that there's danger and chaos outside waiting for McCree. But if we look back at how he responds to that, he just kept his cool and he just, maintained his laid-back attitude. And one of the moments that I like is that he even managed to leave a tip on the table before walking out.
He's a good guy. He's a solid guy.
Yeah, good guy. And it's those simple moments where we can show our character's personality that we don't necessarily see in the game. And that creates them to be more grounded and relatable to our audience. So with that said, and with all of those things in mind, through a collaborative process with the people involved in the project, we were able to establish McCree's character and personality in this early stages of development. And hopefully in the episode, we get to highlight those traits that make him special in the Overwatch universe.
That's awesome. Speaking of characters, this is the guy right here with the thing now. Jason Hill, you did that big piece. Yeah, how about you take it away? Talk to us about, developing the game.
So, way back in the before time, in the long, long ago, I've aged so much since we started this. we all have. George came to me at one point, he's like, hey, do you like Westerns? And, yeah, I like Westerns. Of course I like Westerns. He's like, you want to do a Western? Am I doing that right?
Yeah, all right. You like cowboys, kid?
You like cowboys? So, yeah, absolutely. And so when somebody approaches you with that and asks you that, it pretty much means McCree. You know what you're in for. And so, absolutely, I was totally down with that. I'm like, yes, let's do a McCree piece. But at that point, we everybody here had a good feeling for who McCree was, his personality, his style. I mean, Matt Mercer brings so much to the character with the voice. It's just everything about McCree is like, we know who this character is. So the initial pitch was McCree, and the train wreck, and the payload at the end was the thing, and he meets the Deadlock Gang. And for me personally, the appeal was figuring out who the Deadlock Gang was. Because for me, again, when I'm reading a comic or watching TV or a movie or anything like that, and there's a group of characters who are pirates or mobsters or bounty hunters or anything like that, it's a unique group. You're looking at them going, I want to know more about them. I want to know those characters' backstories. So we don't always get that, but it's enough to like just your imagination is just going crazy. So I really wanted that with the Deadlock gang. So as the script evolved, before we even started storyboards with Mio, I went to Mio and I was like, okay, we just need what we call basically beat boards. So like there's a couple of beats in the piece that we know we're going to have. We want you to kind of draw this stuff out and get a feel for it. So I pitched a giant Omnic Enforcer, Enforcer Omnic, because at this point we'd only seen humanoid Omnics. We haven't seen, and we see Bastion style. We haven't seen, I mean, Omnics can be all shapes and sizes. There's no reason they have to be the same model. So let's do something unique with him. And the leader, I wanted a strong female with just, you know, the wide brim hat, the duster, and the lever action rifle, and a couple other members of the gang. And so Mio's like, great, got it. And he ran off while we kept kind of churning on the script. And very soon he came back with this image. And this may be the very first image of Ash ever drawn. And first image of Bob ever drawn too, for that matter. But this captured exactly what I was going for. I was like, oh my god, yes, this Omnic in the back with the giant mustache, that's genius. And then, you know, Ash just has so much attitude and personality, and just like, your eye goes right to her. And then we have these other, you know, cool other members of the gang that, you know, that skull mask and stuff, and that's a little like, you know, right. Anyway, but they were still very cool too. So, after the storyboard process, and after we got the script show and everything was working together, at that point, it was time to do more detailed concepts of Ash. And so we brought on Jean-Paul D, one of our concept artists, and she is phenomenal. And so we did the pitch, big broad hat, you know, the duster, the whole thing, and these are the first images, the first concepts of Ash. And they're awesome. They're really cool. They're a cool-looking character. But it's not an Overwatch character. Overwatch characters, we like to have extra juice, a little extra, there's something special, you know, special sauce that makes them stand out as something really special. And the more we looked at it, the more kind of realized she kind of looks like a kind of a gothic, like a werewolf hunter or vampire hunter.
Kind of a Van Helsing vibe.
Yeah, so it was something where like, okay.
Ja, het wird echt noch ein Werwolf. Oder ein Vampir.
Pushing this farther left or right, but there was one other big problem. The more we looked at it, we realized it was a bigger issue. In gameplay and cinematics,
Zu große Ähnlichkeit hat.
silhouettes are so important. To be able to read a character quickly if they're running through the scene or if there's an action scene, you won't be able to tell who that character is, who that was. And her color palette and the duster and everything, it's just too much like Reaper. So at that point we realized we have to explode space. We asked Shunha, just go to town, give us a bunch of different versions of Ash. And so she did. She did 20, 30 versions. These are a couple different versions. The one on the left, the ones we like a lot. One on the left, fantastic, it's a great design. But we did, it had the same problem with Reapers. It was too much like McCree, both color palette, too much of a kind of cowgirl, and we did not want a female McCree. Ash needed to stand on her own. We needed something unique and special for her. The second one, a little too punk rock. Cool, but punk rock. The third one, I love the third one. I'm literally going to take the third one, stick it in my back pocket. You will see it again later in something somewhere. Skins, I'm not in.
Nothing is lost.
Somewhere. It's super, it's fantastic. But the key word is super, actually, was the key word, and she looks like a superhero, not the leader of a biker gang. So at that point, we're like, okay, start pushing back towards the biker gang. The next one, we're getting closer, but a little too useful, didn't have that kind of the presence that we were looking for out of Ash. The next one on the very end, again, very cool. Went a little steampunk, a little 19th, 20s, 30s monster style. But they're all super cool, and they all have elements in them that we started to pull from, and eventually we ended up with the final design for Ash, which is a super strong silhouette, just a great character. Like we saw her, we're like, yes, this character, I can't wait to see what, you know, this character animated and everything like that. There was one thing we had to change, and that was her hair. We had to change her hair. It's mostly for technical. Initially, it was for technical reasons. In both game engines and for cinematics, long, flowing, simulated hair is very difficult. So we actually said, okay, let's explore some different haircuts. We kind of gave her this offset bob.
Ja, ja.
That is a actually gave her a much more dynamic, stylized, striking look, and much more edgier. It was like, this is a win. So this was fantastic. So at that point, we had the script, and we have the design, and the storyboards, and we were working on animation. But ultimately, like, what is Ash's origin? Like, who was she?
How did she be a character in the game?
To be a character in the game. So just like about 30, 40 minutes ago, we actually debuted Ash's origin piece on the Mythic stage, but we'd like to run it all for you guys right here, right now. Can we roll the clip?
Want to see Ash's origin?
Everybody needs a family.
Kuchen.
Because it's not fair facing the world alone. I don't care how tough you think you are. They should always be there for support.
Ach
No
ja.
matter what. In the best of times, they will arm you with the tools to succeed. And in the worst of times, they will understand when things don't really go the way you planned. Now, some people are lucky enough to be born into the perfect family. Others, well, they go out and make one on their own. And once you've done that, anything is possible if everyone pulls their own weight. So, if you want to be part of my family, I do have one little rule. It's my way. Or, who am I kidding? It's my way.
Ja, ja.
Well, a little bit of background on Ash, and I'm sure we'll get to explore even more in the future. But you can't talk about Ash without talking about the rest of the Deadlock Gang. And the Deadlock Gang was, again, a group that wanted to create really unique characters and characters that hopefully we can see again in the future. But more importantly, you can't talk about Ash without talking about Bob. What about Bob? What? So, Mia did the original concepts and drawings for Bob and the storyboards, and everybody just loved him, like, right out of the gate. Like, Bob is my life coach. Bob is my mentor. Bob is
Bob in every one of us.
But there's a little Bob in everybody. So this was the initial concept for Bob, and this is the final approved design. So what proved is not only was he my life coach, but he's also apparently a unicorn. Because he's super rare, and that this never happens in production. You never get a character right from the beginning to the final approved design and be that close, that similar. So we knew that there was something special about Bob. To give another example, here's a very early storyboard of Bob that Mio did. Here's the final shot. So I don't know what to tell you.
It's like you fired us.
Yes.
Right.
Bob forever. But basically, we also had to do that. We had to have other members of the gang, and one of the other groups is we actually called them the Triples.
What the fuck?
And this was a group that we kind of had put together that we wanted some characters that could be in the gang, but not upstage Ash and Bob. We kind of wanted to have them that could be in the background, but actually
Ein paar Easter Eggs aus anderen Spielen gelegentlich.
There's a bunch of different designs there, and they started. Some of them got a little too strong.
Nee, warte, da sind ja so viele.
Dominant, whatever you want to call it, that they started to come to the foreground. So eventually pushed to the background and found a really nice design that let them sit for the shots, felt like Deadlock characters, but also wouldn't take your attention off of whatever Ash was doing or McCree was doing at the moment. And yes, they are StarCraft fans. There was always a StarCraft comic in the actual Route 66 map. So we do have Zeke, Terran, and PT, and they have the right tattoos. There's tattoos on them. So yes, definitely StarCraft fans. The final member
Ja, ein bisschen zu viel StarCraft irgendwie da drin.
the sniper. This is another character that only had about 4 shots, but once the designs started coming through, we're like, these designs are awesome. This character, like, everybody's character should be a hero on their own. But yeah, on see just how many different head designs we did for bars. And none of them are wrong. They're all great. It's just a matter of, like, ultimately, as a group, we're like, we love that one. That one's the perfect one. So there was one final piece to the Deadlock puzzle for me, and that is, who is Ash? Who's the voice of Ash? When she speaks, like, who brings the character alive? Our animators are doing a fantastic job. She looks great, stuff like that. And Matt Mercer being McCree, he's so strong and talented, and he just brings so much to that character. I need somebody to go toe-to-toe with Matt Mercer and McCree. So I had an idea for an actress very early on that I wanted to use, but as a director, I didn't want my personal opinions to kind of, you know, muddy the waters and be like, oh, this is who I really want. But, so we signed up basically like a casting call our VO director does. We get a bunch of actresses to audition, and they did not. There were so many really good, phenomenal actors. We've been lucky to have any of them, and there's some I'm going to save for other things, but those in the back pocket too. We won't talk about that. But my editor Nathan took the final select, so there were about 10. And I think it was on about basically we had the image of Ash on the screen. He was playing all the PO lines of all the different actresses, and he got to about the 5th one, and I'm like, that's it, that's Ash. And he just started laughing at me, and I was like, why are you laughing at me? He's like, you just picked the person who was your original pick back early in production, who you originally wanted, and that was Jennifer Hale. And Jennifer Hale, she is
Peace.
Just,
I guess you have good instincts.
She is just phenomenal. First of all, being a total sweetheart, but she can bring any character to life. She is, you've heard her and may not even know you've heard her. So definitely, if you haven't IMDb her, she's done everything. She was just a treat to work with, and just we are so lucky to actually be able to get her for this character. The other big plus was that we were actually able to get them in the booth together. And they recorded a lot of their lines together, playing off each other, ripping off of each other, improvising. So getting to see them together was just a wonderful experience. And I personally really can't wait to see what the game team does with Ash in the future, with Jennifer basically doing the voice for her. So, I mean, it's just a great cast, great group of characters, and it was a super fun piece to work on.
You take the question. What happened to Ash? What happened to Bob?
What? They're on Halo.
Oh, yeah.
I get that. So this is what happened. It's so infectious within Blizzard. I got this question throughout production. So everybody's like, this is great. Well, what happened to Ash? What happened? What happened to Bob?
I was just coming into Blizzard when this was starting to be formed, and I was seeing like one of the first animatics. Didn't know very many characters, and I was like, but what happened to the one with the derby? Is he okay?
And that's, you know, Ash, that team is infectious. We all kind of want to see a little bit more. We want just a little bit more time with them. We want to see something, you know, else with them. And you know, we would definitely like to show you something else with them. But
are you really milking this?
But I am. I mean, what are the chances that we would make a cinematic?
I don't know.
One panel for just you guys.
Oh, what are the odds?
I think the odds are actually pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the boys and girls, omnics of all ages, I'd like to present to you Road Trip. Please roll the clip.
Yeah.
Really nice going, Bob. That could have been an easy score, but no! McCree shows his stupid mug and everyone just falls to complete pieces. I should have just played a bullet in the minute he showed up.
Da kommt er gerade angerast.
Oh, I hate that guy. What are you looking at?
Oh.
Bisschen frustriert.
Ziemlich wahrscheinlich.
We have time for some Q&A. We set aside 20 minutes or so, and I believe during this time we have a special gift if you are brave enough to ask a question. We have issue number 1 of Scavengers, the comic that Kate was talking about earlier. If you come up and ask a question, you will receive a comic.
Heilige
Please
Scheiße.
come up, don't be shy. Throw your questions at us. up now. It's always tough to be the first one.
Who's gonna break the ice?
Go for it.
Yeah, this is mostly for Christy Golden and/or like writing on
What the fuck?
faction-based stories, because there's always that worry about like faction imbalance, and something has to happen, then the other side has to happen. Like one, we lost Terraspall, and they lost the World Tree. So how often does it happen that you either catch yourself like, oh, this would be such a good idea for the writing and character progression, but then someone's like, but that can't really happen because the other side's gonna get a little jealous or upset. Like, how often does that come up?
Generally, we get into the writer's room and the team knows what they want to see, and so we work with them, and we always try to think what is going to be true to character, what honors the past, the storyline that's going forward, how is it going to move forward to carry the storyline forward. And sometimes we do try to make sure that everybody enjoys what we do, and representation of your faction is obviously very, very important. So we do think about that, but sometimes it's the alliance is trying to be a little heavy, but that's eventually it's going to come back down, and then we'll have a horde going forward. So it may not be exactly even every single beat, but it does even out, and that is something that we think about because we want everybody to feel that they're involved.
Yeah, we try to be very conscious.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here.
Hi. I'd love to know the major and important differences when you're making a story and characters for a novel as opposed to a comic.
Generally when I'm doing media tie-in works, the team has an idea of the sort of story that they want to tell, so we know about who's going to be there and show up. And so we really try to think what serves the story. For the Storm, it was pretty straightforward. We have these two major characters, and we got to compare and contrast them over this one incident. So going forward, we always try to think about what's true to the characters, how does it advance, and when it comes to supporting characters like Will, and before the Storm, we actually saw Will way back in the Shattering, and I decided to bring him into the storyline because what happens with him is very significant to Anduin, and it kind of kicks off some of the storyline. So I look at characters that are already existing, that work very closely with Sean. Is there a character that is already existing that fits the bill? If not, we might create one. But it's always fun to go back and visit our old friends and bring them forward after a few times. So we do try to think about what makes a good story. You know, what is an entertaining read? What's going to leave you feeling satisfied at the end? And we do whatever we can to make it turn out that way.
Right, and what stories lend itself more to the inner life of prose, and what stories really benefit from having a visual element. Like Windrunner Three Sisters had some very strong visual motifs, yes, like the pendants that the Three Sisters had, and the ghosts of their former selves and their brother Lyra. So that's why we chose the comic format for that, because that's a strong visual element.
Even Magni probably has some of that too, right? Magni comic?
Oh, the Magni comic also, yeah. Where the metaphor between the world of Azeroth and Moira in the womb, and then the outside of the womb, and the daughter-father relationship. Yeah, Matt Burns did a great job visually showing the link there, so that's why that was an amazing comic. And also we got to show just how large the story of Sargeras was, how honking large. A comic is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
And long fiction, you can really go right into the character's thoughts and know exactly what they're thinking, and that's the format that really, fiction is really the only one that can do it that way, because everything else involves a visual aspect and you can't drop quite as deeply. But you do have the visuals, which brings a whole other element to the story.
And comics have to be very brief with the words. It's not great if you open a page and it's a whole paragraph of text. Like, what am I reading? What is the comic?
Isn't there some psychology behind like the amount of words you should have in a bubble?
I mean, there are rules of thumb. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you do have to explain a lot. So I don't want to restrict people, but in general, if like more than 30% of the panel is text, something is wrong, and people are going to stop and eat a ham sandwich.
Right. Yes. Next question, please.
Okay, this question is for Christy. It would be, who was the hardest character for you to write?
Wow, that's almost as difficult to answer as who's your favorite character, which I get a lot. It really depends on the story, and generally, if I have a good familiarity story on. It's easier for me to settle in. Sometimes if I'm having difficulty writing a character, it's time to step back and say, well, does this angle of the story work? Because if it's not flowing, that might mean that there's a better way to do it. So sometimes if a character is being difficult to manage, that's a signal for me to take back and say, well, maybe I should approach this in another direction. But sometimes they all give me trouble, and sometimes they're all perfect little angels. So it's really hard to say who's the most difficult.
Thank you.
Hi, when you guys are working on new characters or updating character designs, is there a certain point at which the character seems to take over their own design?
You can probably speak to that a little bit on.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time the game teams are the ones who are developing their own, the characters and doing the design, stuff like that. They usually hand us a design for a character. But in a situation like Ash and Bob, that was something like their personalities. Once we started seeing drawings from Neo and things like that, and we had brief descriptions on page of like kind of what the attitude was, and we had given some quick lines of just like maybe this is the kind of what her internal voice is. They came together. Those characters specifically came together really quickly. As far as like everybody got it. Everybody's like, we know what kind of character this is. We know what kind of character Bob is. We know how it plays out. So I think from a design standpoint.
Well, basically, when we were doing those character designs, I just went off of your description. It was such a solid description that I could almost imagine that final look of theirs and how they would play off with Creed.
Yeah. I was going to say, the Overwatch team has put a tremendous amount of trust in us to do that.
They did.
Remember?
They did. And that was like, start from scratch. Basically, we started the story without any character models. Basically, only a description from the writing team and from our directors.
I mean, sometimes it really is the game team's just, here's the design's already given to us. That's sometimes easier. Sometimes we have to find the voice for those characters too. But I mean, you can definitely kind of, is there anything you can speak to on as far as helping to find the voice for the characters and the designs?
Certainly. I think it's all part of the whole package, right? It's the teams coming together. It's these rooms. Sometimes someone would draw out an image or a reference, or as you said, someone would write a line. And, the more we beat these characters up, the stories up, they come to life. And it's interesting that Ash, to your question, I think Ash was someone, she took ownership of her own creation, right?
She really did.
I mean, it was great because, like, I remember when we were breaking the story for that Origins piece, we were talking a lot about Ash and Bob. We were like, Bob should have always been a part of her life in some way, and I think that's how we ended up with Bob the Butler. Like, basically, the character that took care of her when she was a child, when her parents weren't around.
He's a big omnic butler. Or big omnic bodyguard, whichever one you want.
Yeah. Cool, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hi. I wanted to ask about the creation of side quests and things like World of Warcraft. There's a huge number of elements and characters that you interact with during the course of a zone, and I wanted to know, like, what was the process of making these that aren't really part of the main line, but still trying to create like a really compelling experience?
Well, generally our group doesn't do much of the game questing. However, Krisky has actually done some of the in-game writing. I don't know if you could speak to maybe that aspect of helping out the
we have so many talented people at Blizzard, and the World of Warcraft team is absolutely a stellar example of that. Most of the quests that you see are written by the designers themselves. Since I had joined Blizzard, I have been talking to some of them, and sometimes they'll bounce some ideas off of me, or they'll ask for a little bit of feedback or something, and I'm always honored to be able to help them. But there's really just so much talent, and they are so adept at creating fun and new characters like Flynn Fairwind. I mean, we all love Flynn. And so they really know that story is important, is why people love this game. It's one of many reasons people love the game so much. And so they give us some really wonderful characters that we'll play. Sometimes you may have noticed that I use a lot of NPCs in my book. And that's because I'm like you. I'll play a lot of these quests, and I'll find these characters, and we only have maybe one or two quests with them, but they're really memorable, and they do serve a little bit more. We brought Cortessa into, semi-major character role, and she was really just kind of an NPC. We have old Emma, her quest line and things like that. So it's game team. I give them all the kudos and all the praise, and we love working with them. And it's really fun when we can start having some interplay. They'll pick a character from a novel and put it in there, which sometimes happens, or if they'll pick a character from the game, since it's maybe minor, and give it a bigger spotlight.
Right, we've had moments in our room where we work with Alex, he's the user, and that story with Starfang where remember in the middle of the meeting he's just like, oh, he's got me in jail. And that's kind of what led us to creating the Lost Honor pose. We were like, this would be a good story. And then, but he wasn't in jail at the time of development, and then Alex was like, let me send a text to my team, and boom, boom. He's in jail, and they have a cinematic.
Well, thank you very much.
Hi, I'm about to graduate with my English degree, and, one thing that I've learned is writers are, throughout history, inspired by current events. And when you look at Overwatch's story with the relationship with Omnix and how people have various views towards Omnix, it's easy to see the parallels. My question is, how much are you guys inspired by current events? And if we, have the goal to work on the Blizzard story team at one day, do you think that we should avoid those controversial subjects, or should we try to embrace them and find common ground?
George, absolutely. So yeah, this is something that we're very conscious of. We all live in the same world. We all see the same things, and we're all human beings. So this is part of who we are, and as storytellers, this comes out in our artwork, whether we want it to or not, right? So I think that it would not be in our best interest to unplug from the real world, right? As creative people, as game designers, as people in general. So, if you want to make stuff. Talk about what you want to talk about. Explore the things you want to talk about.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it seems you guys touched on this a little bit, but you have a lot of these awesome tertiary side characters, and when you need something, right, you kind of pull someone into the foreground. So I was wondering, how do you think about them? Like, how fleshed out are they before they're pulled in, right? If you need a battle hard before you bring Sourfang in, just how do you think about that?
What's interesting, I'll jump on this, is it's again a collaborative situation where we would come into a room and say, we really need a character for this plot point or for someone to do this, and we would turn to Sean, and then we just jam and he'd say, well, this character might be good, or this situation we can pull someone out of that. And sometimes it just comes to creating someone new out of whole cloth. So it's a very organic, communicative process. And to something Sean said earlier, we never try to force it. We never try to break lore or try to paint a character with a color that doesn't work for that character.
Yeah, it's kind of fun too when you talk about Zappy Boys did earlier. We were like, oh, who's this character that's going to interact with Starfang? And we looked at that announcement cinematic, and we were like, that seems like that troll there might be a good character. Let's flesh that character out more. And I think that's where we found an opportunity to harken back to that announcement cinematic and find a character that's going to play a larger part in the Old Soldier cinematic. Cool, thank you.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hello. So similar question, but you've talked a lot about the varying time frames for character inspiration. What criteria do you look for to actually make it a character, a playable character?
What? Playable character? Well, in game?
In game.
In game, yeah. Well, we usually take our cues from game team, their requests, the needs of the game or the level or the gameplay. So we work closely with them, but those usually come kind of over the transom to us.
I think what was interesting was they saw Ash, and they saw that as an opportunity to take a character that we developed and bring that into the game, which I think that it might have been one of the first opportunities we ever did.
I can only offhand, there may be more. The only other character I can think of that this happened was, I think, Titus Finley, which we created for the original StarCraft 2 cinematic when he was getting suited up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're like, oh, he's awesome. Let's put him in the game. But yeah, something about Ash. We were working on Ash because we were just, we needed a good villain for McCree at the time, and then, and she evolved, and we were falling in love with her. Then we started to hear the whispers from across the street of they're really in love with her. Wait, they have multiple limited, and multiple designers over there on their own went out and started building design docs for Ash to go, we love this character, we want to make something with her, and then they all like emailed it almost at the same time to each other, and like, I think we got something here that we want to run with. So this, Ash and Bob were something that were created on necessity originally, but then over the course of production, it was like, you know what, this is something more. It was something special. So hopefully we'll get more of that stuff.
Yeah, and then choosing to make coffee ults for Ash is like the icing on the cake. Nice. I think we have time for one more before time is out.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, so my question is for Sean and anyone else that feel they could contribute to the answer. How do you all keep a track of ongoing storylines? Like how character A knows character B, and if they interact with character D, and so on.
So I just delete a lot of my elementary school years and just remove that and stuff, all of that in my... No, honestly, so another part of what I do is having a good memory makes for a really great lore master, but that's only half of the battle. The other part is knowing where you can store information, where you can refer to it, where you can share it with other people. It's basically knowing how to rely on your brain, which, as I'm learning, fails more and more as I get older, but how to rely more on our resources. So a lot of what I've been doing recently has been fleshing out all of our resources to open it up to the entire company. Because before, there's only 2 lore masters servicing all of Blizzard Entertainment right now, full-time lore masters. So we figured that was kind of a huge bottleneck. So we wanted to open up all of our resources so we can empower Blizzard employees to be their own historians in a way, and then come to us as they need additional guidance as they go through the lore. So basically it's a 50-50 split.
Okay, thank you.
And we're trying to find ways to harvest his brain separately, so
I'm about to lose my enablers too, so.
I'm constantly, I am in Sean and Sean, what is serving think of goblins? Tell me now. So thank you, and I'm sorry.
I love to do it, and that's another thing is, I am a huge geek about the lore and about how our stories evolve, and having these moments, like Kate just said, I geek out, I'm like, oh, let me tell you about this is awesome. So having that, being able to inspire, that's what gets me going every day. I'm watching the clock, and I'm like, I'm going to make a difference because I get to share that, so nobody flounders in the lore. So if you're like, I'm stuck and I want to get to a certain place, I can help you, and by doing that, I'm like, yes, I did it. So.
Well, that sounds like a good place to end us, making a difference. I like it. That's a good ending note. We hope you all enjoyed our panel. Thank you so much for coming out. Enjoy the rest.
So, wow.